What's up, guys? Welcome back to Funcast, episode 12. Our special guests today are Jeremiah and Kevin from Myco-Alchemy. If you guys don't know, it is the mycology supply company that you need to know.
Thank you.
The great friends of mine, and thanks for coming on the cast, guys.
Thanks for inviting us, man. We appreciate it. It's always fun to get on here and get to talk about anything related to mushrooms.
Man. Here, I'm gonna put this on my lap a little bit so I can hear you guys better. Throw that in there. How's it going, guys? How's everything going over there?
Pretty good. Just things seem to be kind of turning around now. Starting to get a little bit busier, seems like, for everybody. So kind of excited. It peaked out, hit that bottom, and I guess we're on the way to figure out where it's going to end up, what the bottom line is going to be.
Yeah, I know. I felt that as well. I think we all did. It was quite literally booming this time last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess my buddy Josh, I was talking to him about it one day, and he was like, if you can get through the tough times, it makes the easy times that much better,
Straight up, man. Yeah, we're looking forward to them, and it finally feels like they're coming. It's been a while last year.
That's what I like to hear. A cool little move you got going on. You guys are working your way to doing that and living more comfortably as well, right? I think that's the goal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just trying to get things rolling. But man, I know that Jeremiah. You guys had been talking for a while when he was with Bodie Mountain. They actually started Bodie, and then we formed Myco-Alchemy together. But I've always been curious, man. I love watching all of your feeds. It's really fun. What got you into mycology? How did you start your company? I love the name. I like D's grains. A lot of the stuff is so catchy. The stuff you come up with. Really been
in all honesty, man. Well, Jeremiah, Matt, and I used to be in a group chat every single day for countless hours of the day. I guess back in the day, this was, post or pre any business, right? For the most part.
Right.
This is when you honestly, when you were starting Serial Dilution, you were one of the first people in my mycology, experience to have actually started trying that. And I've always I look up to you still to this day as a mycologist.
Thank you.
But how did it happen, man? I was just stoned one day. It didn't really, I don't know how it happened. It just happened. I kind of, through the Instagram community, before we all had businesses, we were just hobbyist mycologists, and we were just trading spore prints, exchanging knowledge. We were all hyper focused on just learning so much about it. And I think just through time, I had a lot of people asking me how to make grains and substrate. And I, taught a lot of people how to make grains and substrate, but it got to the point where I was well, maybe I could try to sell you a grain bag, because, somebody didn't have they didn't have the capability to make the bag. It's it's not necessarily about, I guess anybody could do this, right? Anybody could genuinely get all the things and do all the stuff and fit all the failures, but it's just some people just can't, or they just prefer to buy a bag. So I guess I had somebody ask me if they could buy a bag of substrate, and I sold 1 5-pound bag of substrate, which has I guess snowballed into what this is today.
Right. It's wild to think back on and how it all developed. But I think one thing to note about in the beginning, it was like such a strong DIY culture, especially with like the forum communities, that like it was poo pooed. It was like looked at badly if you were bought grain or bought sub. You're supposed to just like make all your own stuff, which is a little rigid and kind of not very inclusive. There definitely are people out there that can't make stuff. I mean, I know people that just like have roommate situations. They can't run pressure cookers on their stoves nonstop and all that. So um, I'm really grateful that all of us pushed through and pushed past that kind of dialogue and just started selling stuff because it helped so many people get going.
It helped me, and that's kind of what got me into it. Coincidentally, was I got in, I was doing the Canna thing, really was getting burned out with how greedy everybody was getting with that and the direction I was going in. Didn't have $1 million to go legal, and so I was like, well, my time's running out. The wife gave me, she said, put 5-7 years into it. If you can't make an actual business out of it, then maybe time to move on. So I'm kind of like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I really loved mushrooms. Anytime I was feeling stressed or overwhelmed or just anxiety or dealing with life in general, I would go and eat some mushrooms around the fire with a couple friends. I mean, eat a lot of them. We tried to always get them fresh if we could. And I'd always come back like I came back from a 2-week vacation. It was like I had this weight off of my shoulders. So I always had that passion and that love. As soon as I made that connection where I'm like, wow, this is medicine. This is therapeutic. This is good for my health and for my mind. And I really
The
love.
fucking, the mental health, right? I think like mental health needs to be, I guess, way more important than what it actually is. I feel for like the world. Um, I think
Definitely.
You don't
it's
have
like the thing you can't see, but it's like argue, it is the most important.
Definitely, and it depends on how you take them. I mean, recreational is fun. It doesn't have to be like super strict ceremonial style, but you can have your own kind of form of ceremony. And so our form of ceremony with it was, let's just get together with a couple people we trust. Let's keep it small. Let's get a fire going, and let's be out in nature. I feel like that's the important part. Not inside your house or in a room or watching TV, but outside in the elements. And it's like I've had the best times blasting off outdoors. But back to what we were talking about, purchasing stuff. When I moved over, I partnered with somebody who was already growing, and they needed a little bit of help. So I jumped in to help them while I was learning, and my job was to make the grain. And so I learned the process. I watched a YouTube video, some dude in a sweater, kind of like middle-aged man getting bird food, and he's like puts it in a bucket and he's filling the bucket and all the sunflower seeds and you're straining them out. And so I'm like,
Dude,
okay,
the
I'm looking at
worst.
the basic process. So now it's evolved, jumped 5 years forward. The process has got a lot better. And so I'm learning all this stuff, and my job's to make the grain. And so I'm coming home. I got a small kitchen, and it's like my living room and my kitchen are kind of connected. So it gets really hot quick. And I got like all my wife's pots and pans out. I got a huge mess going on. She's trying to make dinner, and she's like, what is going on here? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to sterilize the grain here. So she was like over it after the third time. And I asked the partner at the time, I'm like, dude, is there like somebody I could just buy this from? Does somebody have a business where they just do this for you? And he was like, yeah,
Babe kombucha.
I like that. I was like, he was like, yeah, man. And he was actually purchasing from Bodie Mountain. And so it got to the point where his project had gotten so big that he was losing money trying to do these processes. So it made sense to purchase it from somebody else, because that allows you to focus other areas of your business to grow. If you're doing everything all
Exactly.
yourself, you're limited without help. And so that's where those companies, to me, became important. And after spending thousands of dollars with them, I told him, man, instead of growing hundreds of pounds, why don't we just start selling supplies? And he was like, well, nobody's going to trust you in the community. It's a small, tight knit community. And if you don't have a name to stand on, then nobody's going to trust you. And so I told him, well, who are we purchasing this from? He says, Bodie Mountain. I said, well, I have a warehouse. Ask them if they want to, grow or maybe combine or start a new business. And that's kind of how we got started. But
That's awesome, man.
I know some people are like, he said, oh, well, you should be making all your stuff in-house. And it's like, it depends on your situation. Everybody's different. If you're trying to get microdose medicine out to people and you want to be doing events and other stuff, maybe it makes sense to not be tied down, making all your own
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. I think like, realistically, yeah. I guess ideally in a utopian world, it would be perfect if you could make all of your shit and do all of your genetic work and work all of your, genetics to train to your specific substrate and grain and, but it's just not like, that's not realistic.
Right.
At me, I'm talking about myself. I don't even do like a lot of my own genetics anymore. I'd rather just run my homie's genetic that I
Yeah.
know is gonna run, or like if they're like, "Hey, I got a tester trying to run it," I'm like, "Oh, duh," because I already know it's gonna be a ripper. Uh,
Yeah.
but like it's fun to just go back to sport and do it just to do it. I think that's where like some of the best times in mycology I've had is actually, back when it was that community where we were just like learning how to like isolate rhizomorphic mycelium together as a whole. Like,
Right.
It definitely feels a lot more separated than it was just even 3 years ago. I mean, we started in 2020. Jeremiah, what year was it? 2017? When did you
That
start
guy
it?
in the mycology.
Yeah. What year was it?
That sounds about right.
I think you and Bass are like
17, 16, 17.
been in
Yeah.
for quite a while, but just in the last 3 years, it's seen it kind of change quite a bit. It's that community that was holding everybody together in the beginning. I'm starting to see kind of cliques and people separate, hoping that maybe we can get past that and start to get these events going on and get people back together. I got a chance to speak with you yesterday and just wanted to have a chance to throw this out there. We're getting ready to throw an event together, a nonprofit event, and this is going to be for the homeless. And we're not judging or worried about the circumstances that got people where they're at. We just want to help to do something good, just to do something good for no gain, no nothing other than to hope that other people jump on to do stuff like that. There's a lot of events going on and they're making a lot of people money, and hoping that we could stop and throw a couple just to give back to people. I know that I had actually talked to Fungistrate about coming out to talk. I've been watching all your stuff on your Instagram and your educational videos, and you have a really unique talent for captivating to get. You're bringing like the comedy, the funny, the humorous side to it, and I really enjoy that. I was telling him that as soon as I saw you with that robe, I told the wife like I need a robe. There needs to be more mycology in robes going on, I think, but probably not the robe that I got. I would say his is definitely longer.
oh, dude, we could. That's definitely. It could be done.
We'll
Your
get.
wife would be stoked about you doing mycology in your robe.
Yeah, she would like mine, but not if it was a live video. We probably get it's like either the tips out in the front or the cheeks are out in the back. You can pull it down in the front or pull it down in the back. I told her, the next one, let's go with knee height. Let's go with knee height here because this is kind of dangerous. I could get a ticket wearing this one.
Just wear knee high socks. It's kind of the same thing.
It's dangerous. I'm like, is this for my OnlyFans mycology or?
Yeah.
Definitely got to get like you got the big one.
Shout out to Kevin's OnlyFans mycology page.
Oh, what is this?
Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. I guess like, what's up, man? It's nice getting to talk to you, Kevin. We didn't really, get to really speak too much, just throughout time because when you came in the picture, it was like crazy busy for pretty much everybody. Still, still have some gray hairs growing from that busy.
Yeah, half my beard is gray now.
But worth it, it's been great. But like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing when you're not working?
Not working.
Yeah. How do you spend your free time? I think this is a really important thing that like I ask people in our like position because like there's a lot of people who just only do mycology now, and it's like got to remind yourself that you are something before mycology. It's like
right. I mean, both of us have families, so definitely a lot of time is spent when not in work with, you know, the kids and the wives and stuff like that. But on more like hobby level, I really enjoy going for hikes. I mean, for us, it's very seasonal because of our dry summers, dry, super hot summers. So like hiking through the winter to go hunt down mushrooms and take pictures of them. God, I got back into skateboarding.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's really fun. My daughter wanted to start skateboarding, so I got her a board and me a new board, and we'd hit the park and rip it up. So
Right.
that's been fun. But shit, dude, going to see live music, you know, that's kind of my I'd say my main go tos hobby wise.
We're getting through really hard times. We were some broke bitches for a while, and it took some time to kind of get back on it. So now that things are kind of getting a little bit better, I like to spend time with my family. I'm trying to get them into more of like a permaculture setting and kind of learning how to, you know, raise animals, take care of animals,
Nice. Like some
listen to
homestead
meet
stuff.
community, how to grow, you know, vegetables and stuff, the seasons, propagation. We did a permaculture course, and both of us are really trying to incorporate that now into our business. You know, it's permaculture really isn't what I thought it was going to be, and for most people would be surprised getting into it. It's about sustainable agriculture, sustainable living, how to repurpose things 3 or 4 times, how to lower your carbon footprint, how to make the most and maximize the space around you. It's almost like living in harmony with nature together rather than being like, well, I'm going to clear this all out of the way to. It's like, well, how can you work with nature? In Santa Cruz, we saw a lot of that. You'll see like a block wall, then there's a circle in the block wall, and the tree is growing through the circle. So they're like, well, we're not going to cut this branch off. We're just going to make, you know, and we're going to plan for it to grow
Yeah.
in the future. And you could tell that wall was built maybe 20 years ago, but it's, I mean, plenty of room for that tree to come through. And that was really awesome driving.
That's so cool.
But trying to incorporate mushrooms and permaculture and gardening. I've been getting ready to plant seeds and getting into that right now. The season's coming up, and I love growing stuff. That never went away from the weed. I instantly loved growing weed and being involved with canna and extracts, and I mean the whole process. And I kind of got addicted to you know, to the roots. I love it. I love growing stuff, eating your own food.
Dude, growing stuff is so fun. That's like realistically, I guess the growing stuff really started with mushrooms for me. Then I kind of started like, you know, dabbling with like pepper plants and shit when
Yeah,
everybody kind of like was all hyped up about pepper plants. And then everybody switched over to like cacti and like entheogen, like, you know, uh, it's like, it's kind of so that I got some cactuses and stuff. It kind of seemed like it was like just seeing, not even necessarily like switched over per se, but there was just like a shift in the community throughout the years. It's cool.
this guy was getting into doing his own chili. It's like he didn't talk about it, but some of his hobbies. I know he does a kombucha. He's made some really good kombucha that I've really liked.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? What was that marinade you were making? It was koji?
Shio koji, yeah. So I got into growing koji for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which is a really bomb mold that's amazing, just magical for fermenting and stuff. So I kind of laid off fermenting. I got really into it and then got like a little too involved, and then we got too busy. But doing fermented foods and drinks and stuff like that. I'm a lot along the lines with Kevin as far as like growing your own food and
Yeah.
trying to shift towards sustainability. But I live in a condo, so that's pretty limited. You know, I got a handful of guava trees and a banana tree out front, but I can only do so much. So doing cactus from seed, something that I love to do because they take up a tiny amount of, so you can have hundreds of cactus in the square foot, you know. But yeah, I think if, you know, I also did cannabis back in the day, and as soon as I did that, I was addicted to growing things, just like Kevin said. And I think you see that a lot in the mycology community. Once people, it's just magical to like have a relationship with something and foster its growth and take care of it, and then it rewards you back. And so I can imagine, like, you know, like you said, growing mushrooms probably was the major spark for like, oh, this is cool. We can grow shit and eat it or whatever, you know. It has,
Yeah, dude. It was like, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where like I didn't even see it as what it it's like microbiology, you
Right.
know, for
Right.
germinating spores and shit, and like on like agar dishes. And it wasn't even until like a year or two ago when I like genuinely realized that like I was talking to somebody about this, and they were like, "Dude, we're doing like this shit in college," and I'm like,
Man,
"Yeah, well."
I saw you the other day gearing up for some jumping. How many times have you been skydiving? I heard you got certified. How many jumps do you have to make before you are able to pack your
Dude.
own chute and get
Well, you can so you get your license, you get your license at 25. Technically it can get at 25 jumps if you do everything. Um there's like a card, like a skill card kind of thing that's basically like goes through a bunch of like tests you're supposed to do, and you know, like under canopy, excuse me, and different things, just so you can like you know, I guess be proficient, right? And enough to like for your instructors to that feel comfortable for you to like skydive alone. Uh Sorry, I'm a little stoned. Never stoned when I'm skydiving. Fun. So
Oh, really? You never smoke? You guys can't. No, I was just gonna ask you, but I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, have you ever eaten mushrooms and jumped out of the plane?
no, I would
Oh,
never.
yeah, kind of bad.
I don't definitely not allowed, but I also would just not do it. Uh you know, skydiving is intense enough as is, I'd say. uh but I'm yeah, so I'm at my C license currently. So you can go up to D, and then you can get like your pro rating. So I'm at like 200 and roughly 10, I think 208 jumps or something like that.
Wow, that's a lot. Gotta
Yeah.
do like an open air agar transfer or something. Videotape that.
You know,
Psychology and skydiving.
just like under canopy, like whip out like an agar disc.
Fucking plates like, ooh, gone.
Shit, you just jump
No
with
way.
the bag full of spores, shaking
It
them
just
out.
spread the spores.
Yeah, spread the spores.
I noticed that you use that different sterilization equipment. A lot of people are using the blue Myco stuff. What is it that you're using, that autoclave that I saw you with?
Oh yeah, I just bought it from High Desert Spore. Um, you know, the shout out to High Desert Sport. They're like, you know, OGs,
OGs, yeah.
OGs, such
Loaded from
you
the
know
top.
wonderful people. I'm sorry, it's a 150-liter autoclave. Just got two little um baskets, and I fit around like 40 to like 50 bags, a 3 pound like Milo bags. Pretty solid.
Yes.
Nice, dude.
I you know
Are you
I
running
can't like
this Milo?
yeah, I only use Milo.
Milo, that's our favorite. No millet.
Not anymore. It got too expensive. Millet was already expensive in the first place. Was like when I started off, millet was like the most expensive grain, I'd say, and it's only gone up in price, and it's something that I'm not willing to pay for.
Yeah.
Plus, I find it like you find it like I find it everywhere. Whenever I work with millet, I fucking find it in my like ass crack and shit.
Yes, sir. It is messy.
It's like it's the perfect grain, but it sucks to prep. So
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
Not here for you. Do you do like the gypsum on that?
No, I've never used gypsum. I just use straight grains, and dry them.
Have you tried any CalCard? That's something new that we switched to. We were talking to Eric from Spore Visions, and he was talking about the CalCard being the pH buffer, and we really found that for us, like the amount of lactose bags or sour bags went down drastically. We barely throw bags around, and that's been a super like game changer for us when it comes to that, because typically we'll cook the grains and let it chill out for like 5 days, and then we'll check it. That gives us time to where if something's going to pop up, it'll pop up, and then we'll squeeze and give it a gentle squeeze and smell the patch as we're loading and throw away bad ones. And, we'd say like what, maybe like 6 to 10 for every 100 would get tossed, whether it be a whole or a sour bag. And then we switched to the cow carb, and it's just like that, whatever that lactose bacteria was, it likes the higher pH. That grain's kind of acidic already, and it totally buffered that. And I just thought I'd share that with everybody. That's been something we've been switching to. It's been fucking working, dude. Really good.
So what is that? Like, I don't really even know necessarily what the cal carb is. Is that like a powder or something that you would put in there?
Yeah. So it's another like soil amendment, but cal carb. It's just calcium carbonate. It's a lime, but it's not dolomitic lime. It's a specific lime that actually gets used in a lot of products, from like toothpaste to beauty products. Tums antacid is literally cal carb. And that was something that Sport Visions handed down knowledge wise to us from Ohm. So he's really close with like the head mycologist over at Ohm Mushrooms out of Carlsbad. They're a really big supplement company, and they gave him a lot of pointers and kind of cool tips and tricks. And that was something he said that they do cal carb. And I was like, fuck it, let's give it a shot and see what happens, because we already use it in substrate. And like Kevin said, man, it's a game changer. We rarely have bad bags. Now, if we have a bad bag, it's 99% of the time it's just a defective bag from Unicorn. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really, really good for us.
So how do you use that? Is it like, do you drop it in per bag, or is it like just like a batch kind of thing that you
Just cook. We just add it in the water in the cook.
Yeah. When you're sick,
Oh, okay.
throw it
Really?
in there, and kind of helps absorb it. You can get it on Amazon in a 50-pound bag for like $80, $120. It was funny. I was laughing one time because they sent it to our warehouse, and we have really strict hours there, and they delivered it at like 8 o'clock at night. So we show up, and they're like, "Says delivered." We can't find it, so somebody stole it. So we were laughing. We were like, "Well, somebody's got a lifetime supply." It's like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, why?
That
Like,
sucks.
if you're gonna steal something, like, I don't condone stealing, but like, don't steal something just to steal. Like, you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this
They're in for a bad time.
bucket. You're gonna use a toilet for a toilet, or come on, man. That was a bummer.
It's just people are bums, dude. Some people are bums. It's freaking just stealing packages and stuff. Go buy your own package.
But yeah, it was like, well, somebody's gonna be slinging toothpaste in a week. They got
Dude, I would sling toothpaste. Call me the toothpaste man.
Pretty funny, man. Pretty funny.
You like whip out the tubes. What you want?
With that being said, do not add toothpaste to your cooks. So that is not a suitable substitute.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you do try it, I definitely want to know how it works.
Yeah, don't do it, but report back if you do.
Somebody starts slaying it with that. We're like, damn.
Well, I mean, there needs to be more experimentation, right? I think, like, even right. I feel like within the past 3 years, like you said, like with like where how like the community's changed. I think like more people are just trying to get streamlined information now as well, rather than the whole. It changed as a whole because it just everything literally changed. Even like the fact that we have businesses now. It's like that that is a big factor. Yeah. I'd say so.
Yeah.
I don't really remember where I was going with that. Gosh, where was I going with that? I don't need to hit this vape. Freaking A. Oh yeah, streamlined knowledge and experimentation and having fun, and that's something I wanted to go back to as far as like speaking at the charity for the homeless people.
We haven't come up with a name yet. We're working on that. There's 3 of us that are getting together. We kind of were spitballing stuff. It's like, thanks, Bobby. You already took Entheogen. Bobby's actually working with us on it. But yeah, we're trying to come up with a name for it. We have a date. It's going to be October 19th this year. It's going to be a week after the Oklahoma Fungi Fest. Didn't want to bite Jacob. So we decided to shift over a week, but everybody that's going to be there is going to be a volunteer. People that are going to be speaking, of course, we're going to comp your guys' flights and get you guys a place to stay so that you guys don't have to worry about it. And it's going to be fun. All of the proceeds so we're going to have vendors, we're going to have live music, we're going to have speakers and presentations. We're probably going to have only 8 to 10 speakers and presentations. And then the live music going on with the vendors. The tables are going to be affordable so that the vendors can at least, make a return on their investment for that. I know sometimes the tables could be steep and not everybody's shopping for the stuff that we're all selling. So trying to make it affordable to make sure a lot of people could come and at least support. And we're going to take all of the proceeds from the ticket sales. So we'll charge to come in at the door $25-$30, and all of those proceeds are going to go directly to giving back to the community. And one of the things that we want to do that's a little different is instead of just giving this money to a charity, we actually want to invite the community to come down. We're going to have like a 2-weekend event where one weekend we're actually going out to buy the supplies and the things that the people need on the streets. And then we're going to plan together to organize to actually find the locations where people are at and hand out. And I want to reach out to people like, where are you from? What area? And how could we get down there to help and facilitate so we could spread that money around? I'd love to hit different states. It doesn't have to just be California. I'm just, where are people in need and how can we get things to them safely? And I've talked to a few people that came from the streets, through this mycology world. It's been great. I've talked to a few people that were like, yeah, I lived in my car and on the streets at one point in my life and had a problem with drugs, and they were able to overcome it with mushrooms or with psychedelics, beat their addiction with it, and then have a prosperous business. And so people like that, it's like, they're like, well, tell you right now, people need slippers or sandals, socks, underwear, toiletries. Those are some of the main things. And
oh yeah, for sure. I feel like even like me as a human, I just like, that's all I need now is like as an adult,
just to help
socks
out.
and underwear,
Weatherproof gear, maybe a sleeping bag. So we went to the Entheogen last year, and it was in Los Angeles. And we're driving by. There's a Mercedes in front of us. We're in my wife's BMW, and we're all just cruising down, and we're coming across pretty much Skid Row out of nowhere. And I'll never forget it. There was a lady there with just shorts on, no socks, no shoes, no shirt, titties out. And, it just was like, in my mind, I'm like, look at all of us driving by, pretending like we don't see that. What has to happen to somebody for them to lose their dignity? What has happened that they got to that point in their life? And it must have been something dramatic.
Yeah, there's so many different factors for that as well. And it can even be like mental health. Like some people just, like yeah, like I guess that's circling back to mental health, right? That's a huge factor in life, and it could like significantly dictate how you experience this I guess trip around the sun.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. So it was like, time to do something. Me and Jeremiah we come from, I guess, poor backgrounds. There was enough, but sometimes not enough. And it's like, we didn't, our parents weren't rich, and we had to build up from the ground up. We come from nothing. And I always said that if I ever got to a position in my life where I could give back, that I would. And that one of my goals in life was to get to a position where I was doing well enough where I could take time to give back to the community. And just, I'm not the guy that's at church every Sunday. I don't agree with all of that. It's more like, living your life and the choices that you make, trying to be an honest person, a good person, trying to give back. And
exactly. It's like, I feel like that's, a lot of it is just like a form of guidance, right? Like just like a lot of it's just, this is what you could do to, be good or whatever,
Yeah.
and I think that's it's cool. Some people need the guidance, and
just a little bit of help. It's like we talked to one person. We're throwing the event with Gardens of Hope and Entheogen, but I had talked to somebody else that had space, and right out the gate, he he was like, well, the homeless and, they're a plague and and it's like, you know what, man, we're not here to judge people sometimes, and this might be reaching, but everything leads to a series of events, right? What if somebody's struggling? They got their last 20, they're trying to get to work, they're about to get fired, they got no husband, they got 2 kids they're taking care of, and somebody breaks into their car, steals their purse for that $20, and now they lose their job, they can't make it, their kids struggle. That person just needed $20. What if somebody took the time while that person was hunting for that $20 to just give it to him? And he didn't have to break into the car, and he didn't have to, and that's reaching.
Yeah,
Maybe a little
100%.
bit of help could help somebody else that's about to be a
And that's what you
victim.
guys are gonna do with this event. And I think that's really cool.
So glad to have you a part of it. We'll get the topic going, but you're definitely going to be one of the guest speakers. I think, like I said, your humor and just the way you present stuff, it's a must, man. It's a must.
Thank you. I'm excited to get a little something together, and you guys are hearing it here first.
Bring
Hearing
your
it.
Bring your robe.
I'll bring in the robe. I'm bringing the robe and the captain's hat, baby.
Thank you for giving us a few seconds to just talk about that stuff, but hoping that a lot of people join up. We got a pretty strong feedback and excited to get together with everybody on something like that. Something that's not about money. It's about the love of mushroom, cactus, crystals,
I think I think a lot of these events and stuff like that are really, for the passion and the love. I think I guess we're in a time right now where money is just obviously a thing, and to do these events, it costs money. So it's like, if we could just do everything for free, obviously that'd be like preferred. But I think completely canceling out the idea of like money is just kind of like, it's like it just has to be done. So it's like instead of using that money, now you're just like giving back, so it's like, it's cool. That's cool. I like it, and exactly helping somebody else, helping somebody out. That $20, even like, like that's what I like to do. Like even just going out, I'm a heavy tipper. So I've worked, the service industry basically my whole life, still to this day. I'd say that I'd consider this to be the most of the service industry.
Right. Yeah.
But tipping goes like a long way, and it's like when you're having a rough day and then you just get that random $20 tip from somebody, it's like I'll go to like places and I'll like not say a word, just order something, eat, and then just like drop a 20 and leave. And it's just like they kind of like, some people kind of like are like worried about me because they're so quiet, but it's just I like to be a little surprised. Yeah, shout out. So my buddy Travis Davenport, he's the head brewer at Babe Kombucha. They're in like San Diego.
No
We
way.
used to, yeah, dude. We used to skate like heavy together back in New York. Him and his brother owned a company called Push Culture,
Nice.
and they did like skating clothes, and they were so sick. They had like padded. They were like kind of like double padded around the ass and stuff like that. It was just like skate clothes made by skaters who knew where they fell and how they fell. But now freaking no, now he's doing the kombucha. They're in freaking Sprouts and stuff like that. The whole ass store. So it's like it's cool to see your friends freaking grow.
That's crazy. Yeah, I was going to mention that because I lived in San Diego and I've seen Babe pop up in stores as a new. They got a couple really tasty ones too. That's really cool. Kombucha's like it's the rave in San Diego. From that style kombucha to like hard kombucha, right? So like San Diego is like beer capital, and now there's a lot of like hard kombucha breweries popping up everywhere. That's like the new trend.
That's kind of like an interesting thing because like it's like kombucha's, it's like already a fermented drink,
right?
So it's like extra fermented.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah, a secondary fermentation.
because I know, like, when I do, like, when I was making it, I had like my like little my primary jar, and
Yeah.
then when I did my flavorings, I do the secondary fermentation
Yeah.
in like the pop bottles,
Right. Right.
and that's when it would do like flavoring and carbonation, and that shit was so hard. Let me tell you what, dude. I thought I was a goddamn mad scientist. I was already doing mycology and fucking, like no pour agar in my 16-quart Miro. I think I could fucking do this. Put some watermelon and mint in the bottle, and I put like way too much. Even after reading,
Explode on you.
no, it didn't explode, dude. I had one explode. That was like a raspberry one. It was fucking red everywhere in my fridge. But no, I had the the watermelon mint one tasted so bad, dude. It was terrible. It was
Yeah, some things sound really good, and then you ferment it up, and you're like, "Yeah, that was a bad idea." But there's only one way to find out. You just got to do it.
Dude, freaking Travis, they had I think in the case he sent me over, there was a watermelon mint one. That one tasted great. So I think I'm
Yeah.
just terrible at making kombucha.
Well, their watermelon mint one kills it, but I mean, sometimes with like kombucha flavorings, like it just doesn't come out like how you would think. And then I think some companies actually like refine the flavorings and just add it after versus like distilling it in. When I was getting like super deep into kombucha, I was actually training my scobies to feed off of mushroom tea instead of like a green tea or a black tea. I started doing a percentage of it like cordyceps brewed tea or reishi tea or lion's mane tea and black tea, and eventually phased them over to be able to sustain on just like lion's mane. Cordyceps was like the best one.
Really?
The cordyceps kombuchas come out so tasty. And so that was really cool, and that ended up working out really well. But in the beginning, the scobies like didn't really care for it, and the brews would come out kind of funky. And I'm glad I kept pushing through because eventually it worked out and they would come out really tasty. But yeah, there were a couple recipes that I tried and they were just not drinkable. You're just like
Oh yeah, dude.
back to the drum.
90% of my flavor combinations were just like not drinkable. But I couldn't, like, it was like at the point where like I couldn't bring it, like you couldn't really pour the bottle out, even though I knew it tasted so bad. So it was just taking up, like, I just had like this corner of like a graveyard of like kombucha bottles that I never wanted to touch again, but I couldn't pour out because I made it.
Yeah.
Some sippers. Are you out in Florida?
Yeah, dude, I'm in Florida. When I was making it, I was living in New York.
Oh.
But yeah, so like when I started Feng Straight, actually, I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. It was an attic apartment, like in a house. So it's like when I sat down on my couch in my living room, I could, like, if I sat down too fast, I'd hit my head on the ceiling.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Because it was like a fucking hobbit house. So like my couch was like here. So I'd go sit down. It was like, and yeah, dude, I was making like all the substrate in my kitchen, pasteurizing like 3 to 6 bags at a time.
Yeah,
Best
But it
business
took me like
in the kitchen.
it took me like 4 months to figure out that I could do another 3 bags, and I was like, I'm going to make so much substrate. That's exact, dude. It was like
How'd your roommates feel about all that?
I didn't have any roommates, luckily. So no roommates. I was living alone. However, there was a lady who lived downstairs, like on the main floor, because it was in the house, and then there was somebody who lived in the basement. And I was like, that was when I was making substrate in 5-gallon buckets with like a drill, like
Yeah.
just like the
Loved it.
fucking bucket spinning, dude. Like she luckily, like her husband lived like out of country, so she went to go visit him a lot.
Nice.
And it's like, for some reason, like I guess it was just the universe aligning up or something. Like she went off to like wherever he lived for like a really long time, and that's when like Feng Straight was really like when I was like, okay, I can make an Instagram page.
Nice.
So
Bishop.
then I fucking made the Instagram page, went through making like substrate, like work 8 hours a day, come home, go to the gym, work another like 6 hours making substrate and grains, go to bed, rinse and repeat, all in like a 1-bedroom apartment. Then like it was like cooking grains and sub in the kitchen. I had my like little laser thermometer and I pointed it at the ceiling and it said 116 degrees one day. And in my bedroom I had like an air conditioner, so like my cat would like come out of the room and like literally complain and then go back into the room. But the room was chill. She was like a solid 74, so she was chilling. But I'd be there like sitting in my underwear, sweating my private parts off.
Down there with the sterilizer room, man, because it's in August, September out here is the hottest part of the year, and we'll get to where average temps are 115, 120, and add hot, steamy grain on top of that, and it's pretty tough, man. It's pretty tough. I think at that point we had somebody that was pregnant, and we were like, we're really concerned for your health and well being, like. Did you get clearance from the doctor to be in there for us?
It's like a hard-boiled egg.
It's bad, but that's cool to hear that story, man, and to watch your progression and where you're at now from where you came from. Jeremiah and Zach, the founders of Bodie Mountain, were doing the same thing, and that's why
I say Matt earlier.
You did.
I feel like I said Matt.
You did say Matt. Were you talking about Tasty Toad?
Oh my God!
Right? Myco-Alchemy is who you meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That makes a lot more sense. I asked him about it.
I said, "Oh my gosh!" I said it twice. My bad.
All good. Now we got it corrected, Zach. But they were doing the same thing. They got condos, and one was doing grain, one was doing substrate. He was like, "My wife's so happy that there's not going to be vermiculite everywhere anymore." She was like over it, but he was like mixing the tubs. He said in his kitchen, and that's kind of where it was like, I got this warehouse I'm going to let go. Let's jump in here together and do something. And these poor guys, we were, working for free for 3 months, not making a dime. Just, everything's going into trying to start up the business, and they're going to work 8 hours, going home, pouring agar for 8 hours. And then he had that SpongeBob. I don't know if you've seen that meme where it's SpongeBob where he's just dragging ass. Looks like he hasn't slept.
Yeah, 100%.
He's got bags like this, and then he made a post and was like, how I feel at the current moment. And I'm like, dude, are you getting sleep? And then he explained to me what he was doing, how he was sacrificing to build, and it was like, fuck, man. I felt real bad. It was tough.
Dude, I just poured plates for the first time probably like 2 years.
Nice. How'd that feel?
It's terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah, I fucking hate pouring plates. There's nothing... There's nothing. It's like I remembered why I don't do it. No, it was actually like it was kind of cool. I was selling plates, and I think that's what I like. That's why I hated it, because I wasn't selling enough for like to really make any money. So it'd be like I'd be doing like a pour like every other day for like a couple of stacks of plates, and I was like doing like 4 hours of work. I don't know. No, it was cool. I made some Gushers plates. I used a Verona strawberry cookie and 2 Gushers.
What?
That was my nutrient base.
Awesome. I want to see what happens.
Dude. Let me go get
it.
I got Oh God. I'm coming back, everybody.
Yeah, I can't stand washing out all the bottles after pouring. I don't mind pouring. Definitely hurts your lower back. But we got this. I was looking around the room here. We have these hot gloves that really help. So instead of waiting for it to cool down, if you don't have the water bath, we were using these rubber gloves. I'm actually going to see if I can find one.
All right. It's like pretty terrible. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see very well. But this is some Illusion Weaver from Spore.
Oh, shit. I mean, it's growing, dude. I see some,
There's some rhizomorphic growth growing.
Early roping on it.
This is like literally from Spore.
It's literally a cookie and a Gushers?
2 Gushers and a cookie. And then this is...
That's fucking awesome.
And this is like this is Arissa. This is kind of like more Tomatos.
Nice.
But 2 Gushers and a fucking cookie.
And it worked. Hell yeah.
Then it's like it's throwing ropes from Spore.
Nice, dude.
That's great. That's pretty cool to see. These are the gloves I was telling you guys about. We got them on Amazon. They're for handling hot stuff. So I don't know about you, but when we're pouring, it's like burning your hand. We don't have the hot water bath to let them sit at that temperature, but these help because you can get right into it and not burn your hands. And they're rubber.
Dude,
Clean them really good with alcohol. And then when I'm washing them, because I was saying that I hate washing the agar bottles, it's easy to do the dishes with these. You can put it scalding hot and just get it rinsed out. And it's been helping. It's
I
been
had I think I had a pair of like blue kind of gloves like that.
Was it like welding gloves like these?
No, it was more like the other ones, the black ones.
These are good
But
for
they were
carrying
just
the Prestos, but you can't really clean them with alcohol.
but I was using like honestly when I was pouring plates I was also using it's like a cloth welding
Gotcha.
glove.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, maybe that's like a dirty glove, but it was like perfect for me. And it was like just enough so where I can like uh touch the bottle. I got baby hands over here.
Pouring it up. Are you a bag grower or do you do the tubs? I've been meaning to ask you.
Oh, dude, I am a tub grower.
Love it. I've been hearing that's really popular. I think Myco-Trophic was asking everybody, and it seemed like 9 out of 10 people said tub. So it really surprised me. It looks like we might be shifting back to that.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I never even like shifted to the bag phase. Like I've bought one case of XLSA bags, and I still have that case. Uh, like I've never even really like messed with it. I've done 2 bag rows, and it was like something that I just wasn't willing to like do and like just start a whole new culture thing for bag
Yeah.
grows. I was just like, and I love tubs. The reason like the reason why I fucking fell in love with mycology is like a full canopy flush from like a fucking 60-quart tub. Or like a 50-quart tub when you see like no substrate and you put like an orange juice on top of that, like nothing like it.
You're like, where do I start on the trimming process? I've seen those where I'm like, well, where is the right place
Yeah,
to start?
like I
It's
just
like shingles.
right. So you just gotta like grab one corner. It's like I don't want to do it, but no, yeah. So it's like big fan. I know you guys. You guys are bagging it up, right? For the most part.
We do 3, 5s, and 10s. So the 3s and 5s are for the bag growers, and the 10s are for the tubs. So personally, us, we haven't grown in a tub in well over a year. If we do any kind of growing, it's been the bags. Definitely, kind of trying to get into growing them outside in the garden. That's been kind of fun. I don't know if you saw the post the other day, those big fat kings. So I made a raised
No, I
bed.
did not.
I layered the bottom with broken concrete. So we broke a bunch of concrete up and I had a pile of it. So the gophers here are terrible. Even with 2 layers of galvanized chicken wire, within 2 years, they'll chew through that shit. So I was like, fuck, I'm
Jeez.
going to do the chicken wire. And then on top of that, I did concrete so that they ain't chewing through that. So I kind of just puzzled it together and then put the soil on top. And we started throwing the spent blocks because, we were getting into doing cereal dilution with different things. And so I was taking all the spent wood substrate blocks and starting to throw them into this bed. That way they could start composting, decomposing. And then I started throwing soil on top recently. And with all the rain, it rehydrated. All the mycelium blew up. And then these kings just came out of one of the cracks.
Nice.
It was 2 mushrooms, 1.5 pounds. I'm actually going to dice
Oh
them
shit.
today. There's even lion's mane started popping up, but that's going to dehydrate right away. But that started coming through the soil, so I thought that was really neat, fun. But
That's cool, man. I just like got a bunch of actually gourmet cultures from SoFlo Fungi. You guys know Sam?
Yeah, shit. I haven't talked to him in years.
yeah,
Man, he's cool.
I saw a really dope post today. It was like the side yard, and it's like you could tell the sun. They don't get much sun because there was like green algae growing. They had a block wall, and what they did was they put the blocks. they just stacked them on top of each other like 3 feet high, and then on top were growing like some kind of moss or some kind of wheatgrass. And then they had misters set up in front of it with PVC pipe to mist it, and they had oysters growing right out of it. And on the bottom, they had put like plastic with straw so that it could bounce the humidity up. And they were basically utilizing a space that has a microclimate on their property to grow these mushrooms. And I was like, man, that's super dope. I thought that was
That
cool.
is pretty cool. Even like Uncle Fungus. You guys know Uncle Fungus?
Oh yeah.
Drew.
Yeah.
He does like his like or was doing his gourmet grows outdoors
That's right.
in like his little greenhouse, and it's kind of cool. I've seen a lot of people who did like their gourmet commercial grows outside using the seasons for like the conditions instead of the indoor.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense, I feel like all these mushrooms come from freaking outdoors anyways, so it's like it's kind of
It's
It's pretty cool.
Doing that back in their environment. What were you talking about cereal dilution? Fungus Trade has talked about that. A few other people. What were you doing with cereal dilution back in the day?
God, just getting into experimenting with breeding, something I've always been fascinated with plants. And shroomery would have had you believe that breeding was impossible amongst many other false things that circulated in that community. And I talked with me and Terrestrial Fungi, Ryan from Terrestrial Fungi. We were pretty close, and he's a cordyceps breeder, and he would breed reishi mushrooms. And so I was like, hey, I'm totally under the wrong impression that you can't breed mushrooms. And he said, no, that's obviously ridiculous. Aloha Medicinals has a catalog of 400 plus different phenos of mushrooms because people have been breeding them for decades. So I was like, oh, well, if you can breed those mushrooms, then can't you breed other mushrooms or all mushrooms? And so Ryan enlightened me quite a bit on the fact that you can do that. Cordyceps require a little bit different. It's a little bit trickier procedure, but so he just explained to me cereal dilution, and Ryan was a really good teacher because he would give you just enough for you to go fuck around and figure it out, but he never handed you the whole cake in one go, so you had to put in the work. And
love that.
Yeah, Ryan's a genius. He's a really brilliant.
He's a great guy.
He is. He's a really good.
He's been he's getting yoked now. All his working out he's been doing.
Yeah, it was just great for him, man. He's getting healthy. When I first met him, he was going through a lot of health complications and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see him thriving.
Cordyceps and a little microdose. That's been my go-to. My wife likes to do pre-workouts. We were doing BCAAs. What's that other stuff people take that gets that powder?
The creatine.
Creatine. And I started getting nasty. Dude, I got a migraine that lasted like 6 months. And I told her, I didn't have this until we started taking that stuff. Stopped taking that stuff. It went away. And now it's just, from Shroomed, Stay Shroomed, we bought some of his cordyceps gummies. So I've been doing those. Before that, I had some that I bought from Myco-Alchemy.
I was using the mouth sprays. They're kind of cool.
Oh, nice. He had the gummy. I like doing the teas and then a microdose. I find that doing like a microdose really gets you into your workout. And it's been, for me, better than that. I feel like it helps me breathe better. And I've been enjoying that. So we got a bunch of stuff from the Entheogen Expo. So I've just been eating that stuff while getting a quick workout in. And it's
man. Well, I guess to kind of start wrapping things up, I guess I wanted to ask you guys a little question.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So it's pretty serious, and I was just wondering, what's your favorite movie?
Oh shit. That's a tough one, man. That's like favorite song, favorite movie. Like, oh, dude.
I'll give you guys top 5 if it makes you feel better.
I mean, I'll shoot it. I know my favorite movie right off the top of my head, but that is a tough question. But my favorite movie personally is Princess Mononoke, man. That's that movie, like, just like, it's one of those movies that I felt impacted by. Like, it changed me a bit, gave me a different outlook on things.
And Kevin?
Man, favorite Favorite movie? I gotta say, probably the one that I've watched the most is that Gladiator movie with Russell Crowe. I've watched that countless times, and then I really like The Count of Monte Cristo. I was telling him about that. It was from like 2002. It's got a pretty good storyline, but I like Avatar a lot. I like that they're getting into the different elements. I
Yeah,
like teaching my
cool.
kids stuff like that. So it's kind of changing because now my kids are going to be with me when I'm watching stuff. So I'm changing. I just geeked out on Avatar. I watched the new series that came out on Netflix. I watched the movie, didn't really capture me. Watched the series, started understanding what it was about. Man, we binged the cartoon right after, and I thought it had a great story. So I'm into stuff like that, still with the elements. So Avatar and
Dudes, speaking of like the TV thing, I just got a backlight for my television, and it changes color depending on the color of the screen.
so it sets the environment a little bit more.
You know, it's like it kind of It's like if there's like a bunch of blue, it'll be a blue hue around it. There's only like $70 or $80 on Amazon, but it's like
I like it. Sets the vibe.
that little immersion.
Got me thinking about movies now. I'm like, favorite serious movie, favorite comedy,
Yeah.
old school.
I know.
Favorite comedy is Old School or Dumb and Dumber. I mean, fuck, those are other ones I've
Oh, dude, I was gonna say Dumb and Dumber is my number one, hands down. Dumb and Dumber, number one favorite movie ever, like the original.
I want to know your favorite movie, but that's good. That's great, dude. Dumb and Dumber is such a classic.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, like there's like I think Dumb and Dumber will make me laugh like every single time. There's not like I could watch that movie over and over and over again, and it is just so hilarious.
It's like, shut your mouth, you pumpkin pie haircutted freak. You know what's good for you when he drinks the piss in the fucking beer bottle.
Yeah.
Like, officer. I was like, fuck. I was just thinking of that actor, the guy that played the cop in that.
He's like, get the fuck out of here.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
This is so funny. I guess. Do you guys have any other events planned for this year?
Anybody that's throwing one, if we could make it, we're trying to make it in support. We are doing the nonprofit in October, and what we're trying
outside of that
forward is throw two a year, one in the beginning and one at the end. One, just for fun, and then the one towards the end of the year for specifically the homeless, because that's when the rainy season comes. That's when the snow comes in or the cold. And I've seen people in like no shirt, shorts, no socks, and they're walking in the rain. And it's like, damn, I wish I had just some stuff packed to hand out. I saw a guy sleeping on the ground with no blanket. It was, my nipples were coming through my sweater. It was cold. And I remember telling him, I'm like, man, I'm going to take this blanket, this moving blanket we have, and if he's there, I'm going to give it to him and I'll buy a new one, because it's like that dude's sleeping on the cold ass fucking ground.
And you said that was going to be October 19th?
October 19th, yeah. Let me double check real quick.
Put it in your calendar.
Let me see. I sent
tentatively for now.
Let me see here.
And I guess
October
while
19th.
we're doing
Saturday,
October 19th, put it in your calendar. Get your stuff ready if you can. If you have stuff to donate, be greatly appreciated. Obviously, nothing is mandatory, but we're here to help people.
We're looking for people to donate their time. A lot of people want to donate money. We're fine with that. We'll let you know if we're going to, how much we generate. And if that's something we're going to open up, I'm sure we're open to it. But it's more or less like, let's donate our time, people. Let's get out there and give back and see what's actually going on with our own eyes and what's happening. And let's be good people growing up.
And if you guys, ever want to find Jeremiah or Kevin, you can find them at Myco-Alchemy.com.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
What's your Instagram? Is it just Mike? Is the same thing at Myco-Alchemy?
It's Myco-Alchemy LLC. We got booted for doing the live videos and doing
my bad.
Short robes, so they canceled us. But Alchemy LLC. And we'll definitely be talking, man, because we ship stuff to the East Coast, and in the summertime, that's impossible. So maybe we'll link up with you and see if we can help facilitate that with our customers, because it's, freighting something when it's 120 degrees, Florida's hot and muggy. Better for them to, we could share.
Have you spoken to Jacob? Supposedly there's an event happening in Florida. It's I think it's called Grove Fest.
Yes, I think we met the lady at the Entheogen. She's from Florida. It's going to be
Front Roads Music Fest.
like a Canna Myco thing.
No, there's a Canadelic, but this one's different. So I'll send you some information on it in a bit.
Yeah, man.
But this is, I think, coming up. Jacob from Oklahoma Fungi and Full Canopy Genetics are like setting up like a little like mushroom thing, like I guess area in music slash like I guess
Oh,
festival called.
it's like an actual
Uh,
music fest with a Myco section.
I think it's like I'll send you some stuff and yeah, it's actually seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, link
I
it
was
up, man. I love to look it up.
considering getting a table, maybe even splitting a table with a fungi mycology.
Nice. Oh yeah, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely sounds good. Keep us posted. Was a blast talking to you, man, and getting to know you. You're a really cool cat. Thank you for putting this podcast for the
Thanks, so are
community.
you. Both of you are.
Talk about mushrooms and other things. It's pretty neat to get to do that.
You know, it's like get to know you guys as like as the humans that you are, not not like the legends that you.
Well, more like Bodie and them. I'm tagging along with these guys.
Ah, man, you've made it this long. You're part of the squad.
Thank you. Glad to be on
All
the
right.
Brother.
Well, gosh. Yeah, dudes. Thank you so much for coming on the cast. You have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll catch up. We'll catch up soon.
Likewise. Much love, brother. Thank you.
Much love. Peace.